right. Welcome back to the Land Flipping Formula, brought to you by the Land Investing Pros, Paul and Willie. I'm Abdiel Herrera, and I'm a land investor and coach. We're coming to you live from the Land Flipping Formula Facebook group. You can also check us out on our YouTube channel, Land Investing Pros. I'm here with, I'm here just with Ryan, and supposed to have Max here, but he was delayed by basically he's stuck in an airplane. So we'll have to see if he can make it. Probably not. But we have Ryan here with us, so that's great. Now, I'm really excited because I've been hearing a lot about you guys. This is Ryan Doucet from PRYCD.com, by the way. Most of you probably have heard of them for the data generating or lead generating software. Now, we want to talk a lot more about the software, why it's important to invest in these things, how it can help scale your business, basically the ease of it, how it can ease your life as a land investor. And so you can get better comps, better statistics, and make better decisions on where you send out your letter campaigns or your marketing, right? But before I jump in, I want to give a shout out to Robert Serrato. I spoke about him last time. He had acquired like 3 properties just recently. It's been about a month and a half, maybe 2. And he has his first property that's selling right now in like a week or so. So congratulations, my man. That's always, your first property is always super exciting. So congrats, Robert, to you. Guys, if you're watching this live, comment live. If you have any questions, please ask away. I enjoy having people ask questions on here, and you have a software expert here who can help you answer any questions that you have. I'm sure he's up for
it.
Yeah, and also let us know in the future if you're watching this comment replay. Feel free anyways to just converse with us. That makes it feel a lot more organic in this. Let's jump right in. Quite a few of my students actually told me about PRYCD. I didn't know about it because I've been using other data tools, and I learned from them about basically how cost effective it is, all the features that you guys have, and so on. So I figured, let's get them on. Let's learn more from them as well. And I want to learn more about you guys, your journeys. I know I've seen a few different podcasts, from like military to millionaires. I've seen that. So please share with us, Ryan, more about that, about what did you do before and what got you started? Let's start with that.
Definitely. Yeah. So thanks so much for having us. Well, me at least. I know Max couldn't make it, but yeah. So before we started doing PRYCD, Max and I actually worked together. We went to school together and played hockey together, and we were doing some odd projects here and there. Prior to this, we were doing a cryptocurrency trading platform. So we had this sort of entrepreneurial spirit, wanting to invent and build things. And it was about 3 years ago now. We were both living in LA, and we kind of came together and we're thinking, this one's not working. Maybe we need to pivot to a new one. And Max actually at the time was doing the land investing on his own manually. He had learned it from someone else in the military. And so we were talking about that a little bit, and actually some other options too. And the initial premise when we came up with PRYCD, and it wasn't really PRYCD, it was more for ourselves, was how can we automate finding where to mail? That was the initial idea, because there's 3,000 plus counties. Right. Where's the best one? Where can we get the most effective
analyzing
deals?
And choosing a market, right? Yeah,
exactly. And so the idea was we'd have this button we could click, and it would go out and scan all this information, look at the prices, look at the all these different variables, and come back and say, hey, in order from 1 through 10, here's the counties and acreages you should target. And that was how we kind of started it. And that was 2019. We built a platform for ourselves to do our land investing. Fast forward about a year, and we were still sort of developing this thing, but with all the feedback we had gotten from other investors as we were building it out, we started to realize that other people could benefit from it too. So that's when the website became PRYCD, and since then it's been this huge thing, which is really awesome. And we kind of chuckle because we spent so much time building it and then building price and supporting price that we never even got to use it for ourselves. We were always, supporting the other people using it and getting that feedback. So we were finally able to use the tool last year for ourselves, for our own land investing business. That was fun.
That's awesome. That's cool because you took something that you were both pretty good at. You went from something that wasn't working as well to something that is like, and to me, it's just kind of crazy that you went from, I think a lot of people find like cryptocurrency and all that stuff a lot more enticing, so you would think there would be a bigger market for it, but actually land investing is so good for those kinds of things. And I think we need a lot more automation or tools that will help us be able to make better decisions as land investors. Because, we come from all different types of walks of life. You guys came from military, you had your, coding or software. I don't know exactly what degree you had to get to learn how to code. I know my friend Shalom, he does computer science, but I don't know exactly. Yeah, exactly. Cool. But I mean, I worked with police officers, truck drivers, software engineers, financial advisors, like all kinds of guys, all kinds of people that just like teachers, pretty much anyone, coming in, and they need something that will help them just have an easier time deciding what areas are. So what you're doing is what your price is doing is basically allowing you to click a button and it will do the analysis part of it for you, narrow it down to certain areas, which for me, in the land investing pros, at least in our course and the coaching that we do, we try to hyper target. But the very first thing that we do is finding the general area where we want to invest. And a lot of times it's we narrow it down by looking at Zillow or landwatch.com and all of those places, but you could just go to price and there you go. It gives you the list and you can go right into it, right?
Exactly. And we have some really cool research tools, that sort of aggregate, like the Zillow and the Realtor, Land Watch, Lands of America, and then break it down on a county level to say, hey, here's the analytics of each county, and depending on what your criteria is, what your goals are, and sort of what your intent is for the campaign, you can make decisions off of that.
What I see is like that's 3 or 4 less tabs on the computer for me, because I will have so many of them stacked up and just looking at all these different numbers, and sometimes they don't add up and I'm not understanding what's going on. And I'm pretty good with analyzing the market. I like to think that, at least just reflecting on my business. But when you have a tool like that, I can just narrow things down. And then if you need to go and hyper target even more, let's say if it narrows it down to just like to a county, then you have the specific county and you can go to specific subdivisions and get comps from there, right? And that makes it so much easier. For me, normally it'll take like 20-30 minutes to analyze a market. But if I'm teaching someone new how to use how to do what I do in like 20-30 minutes, it takes about a week to actually 2-3 Zoom calls, and then after that they still have more questions as to how I narrow it down and so on. So it really helps to have something that can work the logic for you and then just narrow it down, pinpoint it, and then you make the decisions on those hyper target places where you can actually send set your offer and send the letter campaign out.
And there's definitely a steep learning curve when it comes to the land investing space, for one, and then on top of that, there's still a pretty good learning curve on our site, because what we found is that we're providing information that maybe people haven't seen before. Like we use terms like coefficient of variation, or we have parcels on market ratio, and you look at these things and you get questions sometimes like, what is this? How what's good? What's bad? And it's sometimes new information, but we think it's information that's helpful long term once you learn it to make better decisions.
Yeah, in the end, it still helps make things easier. And to one degree, I think a lot of people get stuck using their old ways or their old strategies, which may still work and be good. But if you can save your virtual assistants some time, they could narrow down on more areas and send more letter campaigns.
Exactly.
or to multiple areas. I know one of the features that you guys have is where you have the Polygon tool, right? And you can actually draw out multiple areas in that, which I think is great because you can actually cut off a specific area you don't want to use and then go into another one and send those. I get the data from both or multiple locations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's great. That's one of the features that actually I was like, huh,
Yeah, that's a really helpful tool. The Polygon, being able to draw multiple polygons. Our ability to do multiple location searching, right? So that I could search 2 counties at the same time. I could search 2 cities, 2 subdivisions, like you said, multiple polygons, and then get back pricing information and pull and do that whole list in one export. So I don't have to go to the list source and do 10, 15, 20 different exports, over the course of the day. And it just makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. I know my DAs will be static to just be like, let's do that one, and that's the one that he wants right there that he said.
Exactly.
That's it. We're done. Let's price it. Let's send the offer out.
Exactly.
That's cool, man. I mean, I totally appreciate technology when it gets incorporated correctly. There's a lot of places or a lot of tools that are pretty unnecessary, and I don't like having up tons of tabs on maybe some people are proud to be so busy with their lives and have such tedious work, but I want 3, 4 max. Just seeing the scrubbed list, seeing the Pebble stuff, and then seeing whatever data analysis that I have to do to get through that. And that's pretty much it. That's all I want on my screen. Makes it a lot easier for sure.
Yeah, and we're the same way when we do our investing, and how we sort of formulate how to make our product better is we use it, right? We're consumers of our own product, and so we when we go through it, we say how can we make this more efficient? What's confusing to us? When I go through it and I do the export, I get the data. Like, what questions do I have? Because if we have questions, of course, our users are going to have questions.
Yeah, exactly. No, you have to use your own product. I definitely, and and that's true for just about anything, I think. For one, well, I started out in land investing on basically kind of on my own and just learning from YouTube and so on. And then I learned the land flipping formula from the land investing pros through my mentor, Aaron. And, I just got hooked on it. And because it started scaling and started working for me. And then, a year and a half later, here I am coaching the same thing that I just, saw that worked for me. And it's been working for just about every student that I get. So when you guys started out, I want to hear, like, I always like to talk, because we're almost out of time here. I always like to talk about like deals and so on. When you guys started out, what were some of your best deals and what were some of your worst deals?
So kind of a cool story, but it's not mine. Was when Max first started out. So he did the process manually. This is prior to any of this being created. He spent, I think he said he spent about a week doing research for an area, finding, where to go, figuring out what to offer, right, for a blind offer, and then sending out those letters. I think he sent out like 500-600 letters. Ended up doing it, purchased the property, had it for 6 months, wouldn't sell it, or, couldn't sell it. And ended up, I think, selling it at about what he paid for it 6 months later, and made little to no profit. And what's funny is that was after he was introduced to it. He tried it out and he said, this isn't for me. Like, this doesn't make sense. I spent way too much time doing that just to get almost nowhere. And so when we came back and tried to do the automated approach and send out blind offers with automation, we spent maybe 20 minutes doing everything from where do we want to go to like the list being pulled and sent to our mail house. And then, that time around when we started to get deals, it felt a little bit better because, we didn't spend weeks and weeks trying to formulate all this information. And, even early on, our pricing was close enough, this is 2.5-3 years ago, where our pricing was close enough where we could make deals now, right? And we were doing different. We were targeting areas we might not have targeted. Like Max, living in California, was targeting places in the California desert and San Bernardino area. On our first campaign, we did it in Alabama because that's where the model sort of was like, hey, like try Alabama. There's some good opportunity there, and so we went there and ended up finding some good deals. And the next time around, we did the same thing, and we looked at our data on our research page and looked at migration flows and said, like maybe somewhere around Nashville, Tennessee, which has some interesting opportunity there. So starting to use our data to our advantage has sort of made our investing a lot easier, and we're starting to see the fruits of that labor.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome story for one, because it has everything to do with what we're talking about. Like data analysis, for one, is the number one thing you should know how to do to choose the right market. Otherwise, you're going to mess up. I'm sorry to say it to everyone who's watching. If that offends you, it's the truth. You need to learn how to choose the right market, and that's through data analysis. You have to know what's the right ratios and so on. Which, if you have a nice tool like Price, then you can just narrow it down. And you still need to learn how to do market analysis. Don't get me wrong; it's not going to do everything for you. You gotta still be a business person. I still have to think, and work at it. To actually price things correctly and so on.
And I want to definitely reiterate that point, because I think sometimes people will assume that if you come use our service, that if you're just going to use it and it's going to guarantee profits, and that's unfortunately not the case. We're going to provide you a lot of information, and we're going to do our best to make that information valuable. But at the end of the day, you have to have some intuition about what's going on and why you're doing it a certain way. And then also, in just the nature of this business, right? You're sending out blind offers at a reduced market value price. That's not going to guarantee that you're going to get anything.
Exactly.
So we could get you there and get the right price and everything. And if the owner's not interested, they're just not interested.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, this is a numbers game. I say that a lot to every person that I talk to that comes in. I'm like, this is very much a numbers game. For one, and the market analysis or data analysis, whatever you want to call it, and also the due diligence that comes with it, that will help choose the areas where the numbers will work better in your favor, or price the offers where the numbers will work more in your favor. Other people might have priced it even lower. They might be pricing way high, which means that they'll be getting it for one. So you just never know. It is a numbers game, but the nice thing about it is that there is the law of averages, and your turn will come.
And there's so many places to go, and there's so much property that it's.
Oh my goodness! Land is everywhere. And I think so many people. I've had some people that have gotten discouraged from their first letter campaign being a bust. I'm like, my goodness, do you know how many tries people take to actually get this right? That's why a lot of people get coaching or get the right tools and go straight into it from there. There's a lot to learn so you can choose the right market and get a good margin on your deals. That's another one too. I think a lot of people price their offers 50 or so, and they'll flip it and still even sell it for less, right? Because they're trying to get it out there too quick or whatever it is. I see that way too much. Literally, let me reiterate this. Just like a big emphasis, you can make 3 times or 4 or 5 times on a deal in land investing. 5 times what you invested. So that's literally what you should be looking for. Those deals are out there. You can get them, and you can scale up to where you can do multiple of those every month. So go for that. That's what you should go for, 100%. Anyways, thank you, Ryan, so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time. Tell Max we missed him. We'll have to get him on here next time. Tell us his version.
Definitely. He probably could tell that story a little bit better.
No, it's okay. No, you did a great job. But I appreciate you so much, man. Guys, that wraps it up for us here at the Land Flipping Formula. If you're interested in Price, go check them out, price.com. If you're interested in the land flipping formula course or the coaching program, or deal partnering, comment below, formula, message me. My email is on the lower part of the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Give us a like and subscribe if you want. Take care, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.